I love this topic because I've struggled with this so much in my life, and I know you're way better at this than I am. And you've consistently, throughout our 15, almost 16-year relationship, you've always like harped on me to be like more present and enjoy the moment and live for right now and don't worry so much about the future. And I couldn't possibly wrap my head around those comments
Yeah.
because I struggled so much with anxiety. And I don't know if this is a quote or who it's by or anything like that, but they say, you create anxiety by living in the future and you're creating depression if you're living in the past kind of thing. And that's so accurate from my experience anyways. I created so much anxiety for myself living in the future and always hoping and waiting and aspiring for or working towards or all those things. And I just create an anxiety lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like that's my everyday life. And I've tried really hard. That's one of the things that I am working on. I've tried really hard to eradicate as much of the anxiety that I can. And it's an everyday process.
Yeah.
I have to continuously remind myself to be present and in the moment and not thinking about the future as much as I am used to thinking about the future or waiting for that next thing.
Yeah.
It's a delicate balance and it's really hard to find that balance because of course you want to have goals and work towards them.
Right.
But when you're so laser focused on these goals, you are dropping the ball for your present day life.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you've got to be dropping the ball in different areas of like, for me, like either I was dropping the ball in marriage or I was dropping the ball in kids or I was dropping the ball in work or businesses or friends, personal life, whatever that looks like at the moment. I go through these,
Yeah.
waves,
Cycles. Yeah.
cycles
Mhm.
of where I'm dropping the ball. When in reality, I just need to keep reminding myself to bring it back to the present moment.
And again, it's not bad to plan for the future, right?
No, there has to be a balance though.
Yeah.
And it's very delicate.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, they have this kind of fire, I think, them to gonna work by goals, right? They plan ahead and they're just very focused on the goals, very focused on the future, what's next, which is great, because they're laser focused to get something accomplished.
Which is how I lived my life.
Yeah.
Is very much that.
Mhm.
And I've just recently kind of come to the conclusion that that's not life.
Yeah. Again, plan for the future. It's something great that we should all do. In every book, in every CEO or leader out there says that, hey, you better really plan your day because if you don't plan it, life is going to plan it for you. Your boss is going to plan it for you.
Mm.
Coworkers, your mom, your aunt, your girlfriend. Oh, you have a plan? Okay. And then you wonder why things are happening to you. They're not going the way you want it to go. You're basically like a random state of mind, right? And the universe is going to use you. They just happen to a lot. Like, oh, I'm going to relax. I'm going to play my video games. I'm going to watch TV. I guess what? Freaking phone call or the random neighbors just start, knock at your door or your own friend that you haven't talked in so many years asking for you where you're like, Jesus Christ, I just wanted to relax. Well, I guess when you didn't plan that.
So what you've always said to me over the years, like I remember living in Connecticut when we had the restaurants and we were like drowning in debt and we owed like payroll taxes and stuff like that. And I was so upset and depressed and anxious and every day, and you were like, Kim, just cut it. And you were like, what's going to be the next thing? And I was like, no, I'm just going to feel better once we pay these off. I'll feel so much better. They were like, yeah, but once you pay those off, it's going to be the next thing. And I was like, no, I'll just feel so much relief.
Yeah.
I'll feel so much better. And you were like, no, I'm not buying it. Like you always have the next thing that you're looking forward to get to. And then you think you're going to be okay. And sure enough,
Months after.
we paid them off. And did anything change for me? No,
No.
I was still anxious. And we need to hit our next big goal, whatever it was that we're working on. It just, nothing happens when that day comes and we paid off the taxes. It was like, still, I had this anxiety brewing in me for the next thing. Like, well, but we still don't have a business that's making money. And we're like in the middle of moving across the country or actually we're across the country at that point when we paid them off. But,
Yeah.
like it was like, well, we still don't have a business that, is making money. And now we need to buy a house and, the kids are getting older and we need to make sure that we're settled and whatever it was
Yeah.
stemming from that. But it's like, it's so true, even though I hate to admit that you were right, because as a wife, I don't like to admit that you're right. But it's so very true that I'm just always waiting for the next thing.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, my kids are getting older. I'm getting older. You're getting older and everything's changing. And I still can't enjoy life where I am.
That doesn't mean that you have to ignore the problems.
No.
But again, there's like a delicate balance between, okay, how much worry can I be or how often, can I carry this worry and this burden in my mind and just completely ruin the present? Because everything's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that years ago also that everything is temporary. I also told you this before. We're always exchanging experiences, problems, new things. We just don't see it, but you're always exchanging things in life. You hate a job, you quit the job, you hate, you get a new job, new shenanigans comes your way. But then, months before you thought, yeah, but I thought this going to be the perfect job. Yeah, I'm just basically exchanging and making more money, but now you have new problems or different problems. And it continues, right? For some reason, we expect this kind of sense of serenity or like, oh,
Yeah.
like, this is it. No more problems. I'm not going to quit again. But that doesn't work like that. And then again, we just lose focus on the present moment. And the present moment is so important because, when you get older, you're going to think a lot about your past. That's when you're going to have all the regrets. So when you put it in perspective, let's say if I'm 80 years old right now, I'm pretty sure that I'll be thinking about, man, remember I went to this restaurant or whatever, and the Caribbean or whatever. And I was so worried. I wish I could have, I wasn't that worried.
Enjoy the moment.
Yeah. I wish I was just more happy or
Present.
present, or maybe for my kids, for my friends, so you really have to I think about that a lot because I know those are the things in the material things. Yes, it's important to build when you're young and but I'm pretty sure in the end, when you're old and you're sitting in a $20,000 bed or a $1,000 bed, the feeling is going to be the same. Like, man, what did I do with my life? Like, personally, why did I miss so many moments? I was maybe busy building this empire or whatever, but I missed so much. And or if you're poor also, you could say, hey, I had all the chances in the world because we all have chances. We all have opportunities. And then when you're old, you don't want to have any regrets. I know we're going to have regrets, but just try to minimize those regrets and be in the present moment is very, very important. And that's really something that I do every time I go to work. I make sure that I give you a kiss goodbye. And I tell her a hug and a kiss goodbye just to ensure that I share my love with you. Ensure that you know that I love you. Yeah, same with Aubrey, with our daughter. Just to I have to make sure that kind of gives me some meaning. But yeah, you know what? Another day, check.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me.
Yeah. I know that you've harped on me about this for years, so I really do try to work on it. Of course, I fought you on it in the beginning, but just because I didn't realize how much I was struggling with anxiety and living with it on a day-to-day basis, I didn't realize how much it was controlling my everyday life. But after we talked about on the last episode, we went to the Mind Valley event in Florida, Miami.
Yeah.
At that time, I kind of went through this awakening, which we talked about or whatever, but I started to realize this more and more like, yikes, I haven't been enjoying my life at all. And I've really just been struggling with anxiety and all this. And then what really drove that home for me was the book, Power of Now.
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle. I know that you haven't read it. I recommended you read it and I still wanted to. absolutely mind blowing book. Just can't say good enough things about it and how much it helped with my anxiety. I remind myself of that on a daily basis. Just those words, like power of now. Like I'll say that in my mind all the time because really, with suffering from anxiety, my mind is in these constant loops and these constant, like, I have to constantly remind myself to come back to the present moment. Otherwise, I just kind of spiral in these loops.
Yeah.
I was talking about this with a friend today, and we were talking about how she was saying that she spirals on these loops too. And I was like, well, you have to and she knows this. So it was just like a friendly reminder. But when like you hear somebody say it, it's like, oh yeah, you're right. I get it. But I was just like, well, are you being present in the moment? Like, are you pulling yourself back into the moment rather than letting yourself spiral about, like the things you didn't do or the things you have to do or beating yourself up because you think you're being a shitty wife or mom or whatever. And I was telling her like that I specifically, like this morning, was in the shower and my mind spiraling about like all the shit I have to do. And then I was like, why am I thinking about that right now? Like I'm in the shower. It's like a self-care moment. I can be present with that. Do I want to be thinking about like, oh, washing my hair? No, but I also don't want to have anxiety because I have 15 things I need to get done. I don't need to be thinking about those things in that moment. Those things are going to get done when I'm out of the shower. So like it all comes back to just like being present in the moment, in the shower, washing my hair, whatever it is that I'm doing, brushing my teeth, whatever, getting ready, getting dressed, blah, 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 whatever. But in those moments, I'm always thinking about the things I haven't done or the things I need to do. And it's like either I'm being depressed about the shit I haven't done or did wrong or whatever, or I'm being anxious about the stuff I need to do. And the only one that's suffering is me. I'm the only one beating myself up and I'm getting stuck in these thought loops.
Yeah.
And it just goes around and around.
Exactly.
So I keep telling myself, like, nope, I'm not going to do that right now. And I'm like, Kim, reel it in. Like, I'm here right now. I have no problems in this specific moment. There is nothing wrong.
You said again that we just can't think about the future all the time or about the problems. One of the things that actually works for me is just taking inventory of what you have. I know other people don't do that.
Gratitude.
And those that they do it, they just kind of, let's say for those that praise or meditate, in the morning they do it. So it's okay, you go over your things, but you're just saying it, but you're not really embracing it. Because once you embrace it, and that's how I do it. When I embrace it in the morning or when I'm in the shower, sometimes I gotta go, try to empower myself with my beliefs, uh, how I want the day to go. And I think that kind of gives you kind of your anchors you in this kind of state of mind. So I think, but the things I have, give some gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And so just focusing on the problems. Because again, we're just focusing on the problems. You're not fixing anything.
No.
And the outcome isn't going to be anything that you're thinking.
No, the outcome is going to, and it's also going to be like creating more problems.
You have no control over. You want to think about solutions. You have to try to go that route instead of just focusing on the problem. Try to focus on solutions. Or again, just try to let go. That's another book that
that's the one I was talking to you earlier about, was letting go.
Let go.
Another fantastic book. My top 3 favorite. Actually, it's probably my favorite book.
So those 2 books, I don't read the books, but again, I understand the world from my own perception and from where I read in advance. So that goes hand in hand. That is such a powerful thing for everyone out there because we are so consumed here in the US with everything, with life, problems, death, family, healthy issues, overweight, underweight, anxiety, depression, all the medical related issues. There's so many things. So one of the things I think a huge tool technique, those out there that are listening and they cannot enjoy it any moment because I know there's a lot of people and you are one of them. It's hard for you or for other people to really enjoy the places or your state of mind where you at. You just always have this some sort of anxiety,
The moments. Yeah, the
you know,
moments.
and such a hard way to live. Like you basically just hold this huge resistance inside of you and your chest or your mind, holding on to what? To think about it. It's crushing you. Just have this kind of weight you just want to drop. But then, like you said with the taxes, okay, and then pay the taxes, and then you drop that weight for 24, 48 hours, and then you
It's that I don't really even think I felt necessarily relief. Like I did like a little bit, but I was still
yeah, and then you grab another something else. Because again, there's this kind of state of tension
Mhm.
in your mind, spirit, soul. Like, but why is that? Again, because you are not really enjoying the present. You're
Right.
just letting the world crush you and then you don't even notice. And all that kind of stress, living that way cause cancer, cause all these, back pains and migraines and all this stuff. And you're wondering, man, but I'm eating so well, can I try to do your best to be healthy, but nothing is working out well. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Imagine, remove everything. Let's just take away the food for a moment. Because I know we have a lot of people now blame all this. Well, we are eating the toxin and food and it's not
Well,
organic. Let's
yeah,
remove that for a
that's
second.
truth to that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's remove that. Just think about the problems. Like I was saying a minute ago, and you just hold into that so tight,
Yeah.
and you're just stressed out. You're just like, no, this is killing me. Like I said with the taxes, I can't breathe, I can't sleep. This is just, I can't take it. We're gonna get out of this. This is crazy. And then we pay it, and then you're still
Nothing.
nothing. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
then you fall into the same. Now, if you want the toxins that we eat nowadays. Imagine that with holding all that pressure and now you eating all this processed food. We're not gonna go there, but that is such a crazy imbalance in your
Mm.
body, in your mind, in your head. But yeah, so one of the things that I recommend is just to gonna do an inventory of your life and really be grateful. Because I think a lot of leaders also talk about when you're grateful, um, life gives you more. And that's a very wise thing to say and do. You're grateful that you're going to get more.
Mhm.
The universe, for some reason, is going to hate you being grateful. Yeah. So we're going to need a little bit more of that. But when you hate the stuff, guess what? Okay, we're going to give you more of that too. But
Mhm.
that's what your state of mind. You're attracting that, right?
Yeah, I wanna go back to what you were saying about, like, being in the shower and gratitude and all that because, like I said, there is a balance that is so hard to strike between setting goals and actively working towards those goals or, like, living too much in the future trying to work towards those goals versus being in the present. There's such a struggle with that balance. That goes back to the conversation I was having this morning with my friend was that she and I both agree. We always talk about like how when we're in the shower, like we have like epiphany moments and we have like these really great ideas and we're like, oh crap, I can't wait to get out of the shower and like write this down, that kind of thing. And I know that
You forget what
you talked to me about this before you come up with ideas in the shower because the water's energy, energy is movement, motion, and like you're thinking of ideas or whatever. So that is where historically I have gotten a lot of my
yeah.
good ideas. At least I thought they were good at the time.
When we're in the shower, we cannot try to disconnect. Okay, this is your moment. Just you, the soap, the water, but
I
you know,
hope this
and
isn't going anywhere. We don't want it to go, Ken.
and the
But I know your mind.
shampoo conditioner. It's just you there trying to really wash your body clean, your mind, your soul, right? And that's why that ideas comes to your brain because you're kind of washing off all these bad vibes.
Yeah, and like energy, like the water's in motion, it's movement, it's energy. So like you're energizing your body with other energy. That's the way I look at it. But
So,
anyways, there is something to be said for like, okay, I need to be present at the moment while I'm washing my hair versus shutting down my anxious moments, like, oh my God, I have so much shit I gotta get done this morning. And I'm going through the list in my brain and I'm causing myself to like hurry up and get it done faster because like I gotta go get this stuff done. And I'm not even like paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm just on autopilot. So there is a huge balance in that. And another big one for her was like when she's on the elliptical and she's like energy and moving and she's getting all these ideas. And that's when the ideas strike. But we all have our good days and our bad days, right? And this is what I said to her. We all have our good days and our bad days. If I like have major PMS and I'm bitchy, I'm not going to go in that shower and have these epiphany moments. I don't think. I think I'm going to go in there and have to talk myself off the ledge, like I'm thinking about shitty things that happened or shitty things I have to do. And I'm stewing and blah, 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 because I'm already like PMS and I'm pissed off or whatever, or just in a bad mood, whatever the case may be. But then I'm like, maybe those specific times we need to bring ourselves back to the present moment versus when I'm in a good mood and I'm doing okay and I'm in the shower and energy is flowing and then I can let my mind wander and like think about the next best thing, whatever it is that I want to work on or ideas or whatever. So you have to kind of know yourself, engage where you're at, right? Like you have to know when you're in the mood, when you're in a good mood, you go in or whatever it is that you're doing. It doesn't have to be the shower, but you have to be able to kind of read the room, right? And understand where you're at emotionally, stress, all that stuff. Yeah. So that's how you can kind of gauge what needs to happen that day. Like, do I need to shut my brain down today and just tell it to chill out? Or can I lean into it a little bit and let the creative juices flow?
Right. Same as like going for a walk in the park or nature. Same thing.
That one, yeah.
Same kind of effect, right?
Same thing.
You're just walking, you're just leaving yourself. Yes. Can you think about the issues or the problems while you walk?
Right.
Okay. Yes, we can. And this happens a lot to us, right? How many times we are stressed out, let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
And then your blood starts flowing, you get all sweaty or whatever. And you cannot see nature, your brain kind of start changing the scenery, even though you're walking in your safe neighborhood, right? But whatever is around you triggers kind of gives you can allow yourself to give a minute to kind of think about things, kind of be in the present for a little bit because you are thinking about stuff, problems, but it kind of gives you a little window to kind of relax. Because I remember we used to go for a walk every single day before we moved towards planning and thinking and what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And we were just so in the moment because I know I've been like always said, you don't want to be in the future at all times. We were planning, we were in the moment, we're thinking where we wanted to go, right? So we're feeling everything. So we do it. This is what's happened. It was proven, right? So, and finally we finally moved to Arizona. So those are the things that are very, very, and that we have to acknowledge.
Yeah. A big one for me is I feel huge guilt when I'm not being productive. Like I can't sit still at night on the couch thinking about my yay. And I'm like, I didn't move the needle today. I didn't get anything accomplished when in fact, that's not true. Like I get things accomplished every day, even if they're small or minor, whatever. I'm still getting things accomplished, but it's just in my mind, I'm like allowing myself to tell myself the story that I didn't get enough accomplished. I didn't move towards my goal enough today.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard for me to get in the moment and allow myself to enjoy the night. And a lot of times, like you'll come home from work and I'll be cooking dinner and I'll be like bitchy and pissed off. And you're like, what's your problem? I can feel your mood. Like, when I pulled out of the parking lot at work, which is like 20 miles away or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. That kind of conversation. But it usually is because I don't feel productive. And I'm just kind of coming to that epiphany right now in this very moment.
The whole day was wasted.
The whole day was wasted. I feel like I'm sitting here, running my kids around and cooking dinner. And that to me is super important, but it's also bullshit because it's not moving the needle and it's not moving us forward towards our goals. I know that those things are important. And of course, I'm so grateful to be home to be able to do that because I used to not be able to be home to do that.
What happened is that a lot of people think that, when you're working on a project, we get stuck. This happened to me as well. Like, you want to have this huge results every day. It doesn't work like that in any project.
No.
It doesn't work like that. Just to give you an example, writing a book, let's say you wrote 5 pages. 5 pages is great, but that's not a book.
So that's the story, the loop that I'm talking about that I would be
More
stuck
pages
in.
to
Like,
write.
Ken, you're writing a book. You only wrote like a couple paragraphs
Exactly.
today, but like those might be spectacular paragraphs.
Exactly. It takes your impression also, even though you are writing and you're putting it all together. But then, like, at the end of the day, like, Jesus, and the shit. Because again, but you're going in the future. You're already letting what you accomplished that moment wasn't enough.
Wasn't enough.
It
Yeah.
wasn't enough. But it is enough, believe it or not, because that was effort that you put in. Sometimes it doesn't flow as good as you want to, right?
Yeah.
And another thing is, I remember when we go on vacations, as we do staycations, I used to get in my work emails. And every time I get an email and I have a chance to see it, my brain is going work mode.
You're not in your present moment.
Yeah. And once I turn it off,
The relief you feel.
yeah, like 6 hours goes by. I'm not getting any emails. And I'm just getting some sort of energy or like stress relief. Just to give you an example of how other factors are still present. Because I'm going to try to restart with you. They're having good meals, nice people, nice place. But then my mind, part of my brain, 40% is just thinking about the fucking job. Because I just got an email and I just got my brain goes in autopilot, right? And that's not right. So, just shut off, enjoy your moment with your wife or with your friends or family, and just have a good time.
Which is another reason why I can't get into the whole like weekend getaways. I know people love their weekend getaways, and I would love to love a weekend getaway. Like, there's nothing more that I would love to love than a weekend getaway. But as you know, I need like 3 to 4 days to unwind on a vacation. And then I'm like, my body and my mind and my soul and everything can get into like, oh, okay, I'm here to relax and have a good time. And by then, we're packing our bags. And I'm like, wait. I missed the whole thing. Can we start over? And it's the same way since you've known me. Same thing historically. Every single time we go away, it takes me 3-4 days to unwind. And then I get into it. And then we're going home. And it's the saddest thing ever because I haven't enjoyed myself.
Yeah. The first 3 days was just kind of decompressing, dropping the stress.
Correct.
Getting into kind of molding these layers of stress, right?
Because of the moment.
You're going to need a drink. You're going to need let me check the place.
I need a couple days sleep. Yeah. I need to see where I'm at, what's going on, where can we eat. Like, all these things have to play out in my head. And either I get sick on the vacation or immediately when we return from vacation. Yeah. Because my body, I'm always like in the stress survival mode. And then we finally get there and I'm like, ugh. And then I immediately get sick because I'm finally taking a minute to notice what my body is feeling and, resume and whatever, back to normal. All those things.
And this is funny because everything that we're talking right now, just like it's happening to a lot of people right now. Yeah. Some people, they're just like,
oh, I know I'm not the only one because I read about this all the time on forums.
Absolutely. But I know there are some other people, they just don't even know what's wrong. They're just so focused, so fixed into whatever is happening, work, family, that they don't even know. They should stop. They don't even know that it should turn off.
Like, you didn't know until I told you. I was like, shut that shit.
I thought that wasn't necessary.
It was necessary.
No, it's not necessary. I want to read that, but I'm like, I'm away. Not reply or anything. It was my auto email reply, whatever shit.
No. When I started my job,
But
I had that auto email reply. I didn't have it on my phone. It was only on my
yeah,
computer, which I wasn't bringing with me anymore,
yeah,
my work computer. And that was it. I didn't think about it. I didn't look at it, nothing.
I
I
remember.
totally check out from that shit because it's not my company. It's not my problem.
Yeah,
That can wait.
I remember also when I went to a cruise, and I think 1 year we didn't pay for whatever the
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, whatever they offer. You just call it, fucking pay the premium. Uh, so we didn't have any service. And I remember feeling that, Jesus, you completely disconnect. Like you're somehow in a cell phone and you're being in the loop somehow really connects you deeply with whatever's happening. In that case, like with your family or friends or whatever. And it's just like, it's crazy how I felt that like, no, it's not important to disconnect. But now, as soon a few hours after that, I'm not getting anything. I can enjoy the moment. It's much better. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just thinking about that I'm there, that I'm grateful, that I want to have a good drink. I'm just kind of breathing and all it. Because again, just don't take it for granted. Like, can I use it also like an energy booster? But I mean, like, breathing, kind of really try to align with that because that's what I want for my life. But I try to really align that this is the kind of life I want to have. You know what I mean? This is what I expect in life. So I'm trying to really take it all in instead of just thinking, oh, well, I have to go back and vacation is over and let's go back to reality. I don't see it like that. I don't try to do not see it. I don't even put it in words like that because I don't want to, like, a gin said, or I don't want to say it out loud. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, turns into my life or whatever. Like, no, this is actually my new life. So, and I think that if I keep myself in that state of mind, I'll get happy to go again, or can I reshape my life in a way that I can, yeah, this is the way I live, instead of just kind of thinking, oh, well, no, and now I'm going to need another $1,000 to go the next year or in 6 months, and then I'm not going to have the money. This is going to happen again in 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
So
Well,
that's you leave that to me.
yeah,
That's where I
yeah.
live. That's where my
No,
brain.
that's it. One day, one time. I'll see you who knows when. I don't know when I get the money. No, I just really don't see it. Actually, I kind of, in my head, bump it up. All right, what's next? What can I get? How can I do it the next time better?
Ken's the one in line on the cruise ships, but you're in line at the desk that they give you like a discount if you sign up and pay for the next cruise while you're on the cruise. You're the one in that line, and I'm like,
Building
we
down.
can't afford that right now. No,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Another vacation? Let's
Yeah,
get rid of this one.
yeah. And I was born in Colombia, a third world country, where it's kind of really harder to get things, but it's all at stake. Fine.
Mhm.
With the people that I used to hang out with, my friends in college, we always have this kind of mindset for greatness, business oriented or great places, good people, help others, be nice to others. We were actually always kind of seeing the beauty of the world, even though we're trying to our music and hard rocks and all that kind of stuff. But we were never into drugs or anything like that. But we're always enjoying the moment, really, really enjoying the present. And maybe that's one of the things that maybe in South America and the Caribbean, I see it now that, yeah, we do enjoy more the present, like, like you're like an island time.
Yeah, it's my famous line for
You
Ken
know,
is that he's always on island time.
so maybe because down there you're not as attached to material things, even though you like well off, like good resorts, good restaurants, good food, nice beaches, nice places. There's a lot of people that they just, you think about just a struggle. I don't have it. It's too expensive. Never gonna have that kind of work, and then I'm just gonna be trapped into your own mind. So trapped in the system. It's like a layers of my beliefs, what society is putting on me, economy, my family. You're just like trapped into all these things that you can even freaking see the world with a different perspective, a different way. At some point, we're into layers and kind of start feeling off. Oh, well, why am I feeling this way? Why should I feel like I deserve less? It's just to switch your mind a little bit and things will kind of, you cannot take a new route and to kind of make things better for your life. And then as the island time, one of the things that I used to tell me all the time that
Not used to. I still tell you that quite frequently.
yeah,
That Ken lives on island time, and I'm beginning more and more to realize in later years in my life that that's a good thing
yeah,
to some
to
degree.
some extent. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The, there's a lot of things that drive me crazy about Ken living on island time, but we won't get into that here today.
Yeah. Yeah. This was very interesting, Cam, to kind of really talk about living in the present
Yeah,
and
The Power of Now,
the power of now.
one of my favorite books.
So yeah, it's a great topic, Cam, to talk about that we must live in the present.
Yeah, and for anybody wanting to learn more, The Power of Now, it is an amazing book. It will blow your mind.
Yeah.
It really will.
All right. So this is a wrap up, I guess.
Yeah, if this resonates with anybody, if you guys have any tips and tricks that would help us live in the moment or being present, we shared a few of ours that help us.
Yeah.
I'd love to learn some more because I'm always struggling with it. Email us at canandkinpodcast@gmail.com. And we look forward to learning and growing with you guys. So we will see you on the next one.
All
Take
right.
care.
Yeah. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey there. If you like this episode, please like, share, and join our community. And check out our website at kenandkimpodcast.com for free tools and resources. We'll talk to you next time.